Hey guys, welcome back to Red Devil TV. Man United beating Leicester City 1-0. A great game, a better game than the Southampton game. I thought we played a lot better. Even then, still not a Ten Hag performance in my opinion. I think, look, we saw great spells of football. The goal was great. Delo, Bruno, Rashford, Sancho. However, look, I think at the end of the day that this is a work in progress, and it will be. You know, it's normal. It's the beginning of the season. Ten Hag is just getting started in my opinion. And look, I was impressed with some of these players. I've been very frustrated with Rashford, Bruno, and even McTominay. You know, players like this who I think, you've got to drop them at some point. And I think this game against Arsenal will be very interesting because there's only 2 days rest. And really, Saturday's not going to be a rest. We're going to have a light session most likely and then get into the game on Sunday. And look, for me, let's talk about some of these players. Eriksen, I was very impressed with him. I mean, the second half he kind of faded a bit, but look, he was everywhere in midfield. He was getting the ball from deep. He was getting himself in attacking positions. He had one shot in the first half, which was a good chance there for him. Look, it still confuses me why Ten Hag didn't start Casemiro. And when he came on, the thing was with Casemiro, when he came on, you could see he was a bit rusty. He was a bit not in place very well. You can see he's still getting accustomed and used to the system. However, you did see his quality. I mean, some of these passes that he put in were ridiculous. Putting some good tackles, good interceptions. But I'm very impressed with Casemiro in terms of his passing as well. And he's going to be vital when it comes to getting those passes out from deep as well. It's like what we talked about. Frankie De Jong. He's that player who can play deep and he's getting to get those passes in between the lines and out of danger. And look, I saw Casemiro do that a lot of times yesterday. But then again, that time in the game, Leicester were putting on pressure. And we could hit them on the counter. There were gaps there to take advantage of, which Casemiro did yesterday. Bruno, one thing about Bruno, I was very impressed with some of his passing yesterday, his composure on the ball. I was impressed with how he was getting pressed and managed to get himself. Look, there was one time he nutmegged one of those players and he put in a crazy pass into the attack, and I was incredibly impressed with his composure, especially on the ball, because this is something I've criticised him on, because I feel like a lot of the time Bruno, when he getting pressed or pressured in tight spaces, he doesn't deal very well with it. He either goes for a long ball, he puts the ball straight out of play. He's not a player who is great at getting himself out of dangerous positions, partly because he's not the most technical. Players like Sancho can get themselves out of positions like that, Van de Beek. So players like that who are very technical, Eriksen. But one thing about Bruno, again, it's the same thing. He keeps putting these crazy long balls. And I think part of the reason why he does that is because you got Rashford as a striker. What did I see yesterday from Rashford? I saw some decent link-up play, actually. I kept seeing these people putting some crazy comments on Twitter and Instagram how Rashford was dreadful. And look, yes, he wasn't good as a striker. He really wasn't. However, when he got himself in wider positions where his link-up play was really good, where he was doing little flicks and good passing, I thought it was very good. But then again, he was more in a wide position. He's much better on the wing. But as a striker, not good. I mean, in the air, he's not good. His hold-up play isn't great either. I mean, it's very easy to get the ball off him when he's back to goal and he's trying to do his hold-up play. It doesn't work. There's no good hold-up play there. And you saw the difference when Ronaldo came on. I mean, look, yeah, he was a bit rusty, I would say. Look, at the end of the day, he had 20 minutes. But first couple of minutes, not really there. But then once you got the ball to him, magic happened. I mean, the link-up play between him and Bruno, he almost scored a bicycle kick. I mean, that was close as well. He could almost set up Eriksen. If Eriksen was just a bit ahead, could have got a goal there. But as soon as he came on, I mean, he almost created something out of nothing with that bicycle kick, and then he had some good link-up play with Bruno. You can see the difference. Look, Ronaldo, we all know he's not the quickest anymore. He's still incredibly quick. He was like the fifth quickest player in Europe last season. I mean, you're talking about a 37-year-old. Someone who's 37, he's not just a 37-year-old, but he's 37-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo who he still has crazy pace for his age, and his passing was great. And this just shows why he needs to start. Look, I was confused as to why Casemiro Ronaldo didn't start yesterday. I don't get this winning team thing. I don't get it. And look, Ralph used that term last season. I'm hoping Ten Hag is not sticking with that against Arsenal, because look, some of these players have played a lot. You're talking about every player there has played 3 games in a row, so you're gonna have to switch it up. And I would have liked to see Van de Beek come on. I thought Bruno was getting a bit tired yesterday. Eriksen obviously got tired. Confused as to why Sancho gets subbed on so early. I think he got subbed for Ronaldo, didn't he? So Ronaldo needs to start next game. Obviously, I'll do a separate video for that, and I'll post that tomorrow. But I was impressed with some of these plays. Even McTominay, I was quite impressed. I thought defensively he was very good. The tackles were good. The interceptions were there. Some of his passing was good. But this is the thing. That's what happens when you have Casemiro there. And even though Eriksen is not a defensive midfielder. He can do a job. Eriksen can really do a job in that defensive midfield role, but the thing is he's going to be everywhere. And this is when you need your players to play as a team, unity. And Ten Hag said it yesterday in a press conference. Everyone was playing for each other. You saw tackles everywhere. And what did we see last season? You saw there was gaps everywhere in midfield. There was a lack of balance. McFred don't work. But when you have Eriksen there in midfield, who's everywhere, and you have McTominay who's working his arse off, same with Bruno, if you're working together as a team and you've got a much more solid back four, so even if the midfield get bypassed, you still got Martinez and Varane, who are absolutely incredible partnership. Look, Arsenal's going to be a massive test for us because Arsenal are first in the league right now. They're out of the performances I've seen, Arsenal have put on the better performances out of any team, in my opinion. So look, with the transfer window closed, obviously Ronaldo staying, Antony maybe starting against Arsenal. That's going to be very interesting because, look, Ten Hag might want to go straight into it because Elanga started 3 games, Rashford has started 3 games. I thought Elanga was poor yesterday, not so much involved in the game. And look, he's young. He's not the guy to play in this team. I'm concerned as to why Ten Hag has chosen him. I think it's because of the press. You know, Ronaldo can press here and there, but he's not going to press for 90 minutes straight. But even then, I didn't see Rashford press that much yesterday. It was more Bruno pressing, Elanga constantly pressing, McTominay. And you saw it yesterday. I mean, that chance that Eriksen had, you saw how high up we were. Delot, Delot was incredible yesterday. I was incredibly impressed with our fullbacks yesterday. Malacia with those interceptions and tackles. Delot was phenomenal. I mean, Delot, 2 seasons ago, if you would have told me Delot would be starting almost every game out of Ten Hag for the first 5 games, I'd think, whoa, that's mad. I know it's the first 5 games of the season. Things are going to change. And look, Wan-Bissaka might play on Sunday because Delot's played a full 90 again for 3 games straight. But I was incredibly impressed with Delot. I mean, his passing was great. His defensive capabilities now are improving a lot. There was one tackle at the end there where he got a vital tackle. It was a cross coming in from Leicester. He put in a fantastic tackle. And it was a bit behind, so it wasn't guaranteed he was going to get that tackle in. Gets that tackle, he blocks it. He blocks the cross from coming in. And you saw the passion that him and Martinez and Varane and De Gea had in that moment. And I was like, this is what you call a back four. This is a leading back four. That's what you need. And I still think there are times where you can argue, even Malacia at times, he's out of position. But yesterday, you kept seeing a lot of attacking display from our fullbacks. And for them to have that attacking display, you need a good centre-back partnership to protect them. You need a good midfield. And really, you need them to be good defensively and good enough to recover. Because at the end of the day, everyone was talking about Malacia being not physical, not being tall enough and not being big enough. But Malacia is very, very physical for his height. He really is. And yes, yesterday, Martinez again winning a lot of aerial duels. He's not that tall. But then again, I saw stuff from Martinez which was mad. I saw him going out into midfield, putting passes into the attack. You know, these are things outside of his strengths, really. And it shows to be one of his other strengths. Gets the ball forward, passes it into the midfield. He's not scared of doing that. I know Maguire did that at times, but Maguire's not so trustworthy with his mobility and his composure on the ball. So I was very impressed. Varane was man of the match for me. I mean, that back four, for me, phenomenal performance. But I was not so impressed with the attack. I don't think Rashford was that bad. I was actually quite confused as to why people were saying Rashford was very poor. Yes, as a striker, he wasn't really doing his job. You saw the movement straight away when Ronaldo was on. The movement was there, getting himself into spaces that were available. Rashford wasn't really doing that. Yes, Rashford was putting in some good link-up play yesterday, I thought, with Sancho and Bruno. But he's just not a striker. His hold-up play is not good enough. Where are the crosses? There were no crosses yesterday. Why? Because you don't have a player who's good in the air. Ronaldo is in the team. Even if you get Antony in as well, there's crosses everywhere. Both wingers can put in a cross in. It allows more of the overlap from the fullbacks. And listen, even yesterday, there was less of an overlap. There was more of that Pep style. You got the fullbacks coming into midfield. That's what we saw yesterday. Malacia and Delot constantly getting into the midfield. But with Antony in the team, when you got maybe Sancho on the left and Antony on the right, it's going to allow the fullbacks to overlap constantly. And what we saw last season from Rashford when he was playing on the left, or even if you had Greenwood on the right, you didn't see much of passes into the overlap position. You never saw Greenwood or Rashford put in a pass into the fullback who was putting in an overlap, which was crazy. So this is going to have to be vital because we need to get the best out of our fullbacks. Look, listen, Delot at his best has got a good cross on him. Malacia, I want to see a bit more crossing, but then again, you got no one there who's good in the air. So guys, let me know what you think. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.